All right, well, here's another. Which one do I want to? I got so many good video options. All right, this is a good one. This is one that's been blowing up recently. So, yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this.
Let's see what the blow up is about.
All right, let me make sure I cue it up properly.
So,
okay.
Where that like you're the
this one or the
final
other one?
boss.
This one. Both of them.
Okay.
We'll split them up in two different.
Sophie. So you are aware that like you're the final boss when it comes to OF, right?
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Mm-hmm. And I know you saw the clip of Julia making $400,000 a month, so I just need to know like how much are you making a month?
I don't know if I don't really want to hurt your feelings. I just don't.
Hurt my feelings? What do you mean?
I don't want to say.
You don't have to say, just show me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I won't break your phone.
OF is OnlyFans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually like kind of tearing up. $4 million? $4 million in a month?
Yeah.
400,000 in the last 7 days, in case you were. Not even, it's more than that.
Thanks.
I can't even be mad at you. Like, this is y'all's fault. Like, how do y'all men even have that amount of money? You have wives, children, baby mamas, bills. Women, if you're seeing this, go through your man's phone. Because $4 million a month, I promise you will find that link in his search history. Go to private. Go to the private tab. It's right there. Sophie Rain Spider-Man video bot. Sick. You weird. It's weird because she also looks 14. So, get your bag, I guess.
Thanks.
$4 million. Disgusting.
So, other than the sex shaming she did, I think, what are your thoughts? So yeah, OnlyFans is OF. That's the shorthand. And this video is blowing up because people are shocked to hear that Sophie Rain is like the final boss.
What does she do on OnlyFans? What's Spider-Man?
I mean, so
did she put on a Spider-Man outfit?
Yes, she has a sex tape where she's wearing a Spider-Man costume, and there's other girls involved in it, and it's supposed to be like it broke records for how many people were sharing it, downloading it, trying to see it. Like it kind of caught a lot of traction on Twitter also. Like, everyone was posting about it on Twitter. Everyone was like, yo, have you seen the video? It would just be her and Spider-Man. And, like, she blew up on Twitter as becoming, like, the poster child for OnlyFans. She's only been doing it for, like, a year. So, the fact that she... Well, 2 years, maybe. But the fact that she was able to make $43 million in 1 year. She made $4 million. She's making $4 million a month. So, what are your thoughts? Your face is saying a lot, but what are your vocal cords going to say? Take your time. Take your time. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you my thoughts.
Okay, sure.
What do you think I'll tell? Look, I am all in support of sex work. I know a lot of people don't think that doing OnlyFans is work. I know a lot of people don't think that it's anything that requires talent or skill. They're just like, you're just taking off your clothes. It's nothing. Anyone can do that. First of all, no, they can't. Because you know how we know that? Because a lot of people try.
And clearly they're not doing...
Not a lot of people are pulling these numbers. So, like, respect the game. You may not respect what she's doing, but respect the game. It's like, she's in a league of her own, all right? It's not that many people that could just take their clothes off and make $4 million a month. That's not normal. That's insanity. Yeah, she's making more. There's this graph they showed of like the top football players in the NFL right now, and she was making more money than they were combined.
Forget the NFL.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's. So I'm thinking of several things, I guess.
Sure.
I think about it is now not having seen. This is the first I've heard of this one.
This is the first I've heard of it.
I was not part of the all of
the social discourse that's been going on.
All of the discourse that's been going on around it. Yeah. A couple things do strike me as interesting. She did note in the video that she does look very young, and she does, and I'm curious about...
So what's interesting is that clip has been clipped, like so many people were discussing it. That part has been cut out significantly.
Really?
Yes. I actually went back to the main girl who posted the video. The one who's interviewing her.
Yeah.
And that little tag at the end, it's not on all the other videos I've seen. Like, I'm also seeing that part. I was like, oh, snap. Like, yeah. Is that part of it?
Yeah.
You think so?
I do. I think there's a very real
Fetishization?
yeah, fetishization of
Fetishization?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. I
Wow.
very much do. I very much think that it's something in that is very much alive and well in the psyche of many men, which
is wild because most of the think pieces are about her and coming after her, being like, this is not something that requires talent, this is not something that requires skills. This is the first time the girl even interviewing is like, you guys are sick. Because that's what I'm.
She's representative of, I think, several other things that are going on.
Yeah.
She would not be able to, as however young as she is, she wouldn't be able to leverage that on a platform and find a market for it without many other things going on.
Yeah.
So pointing to pointing to her as the problem, I think is definitely misguided and short-sighted.
Super misguided.
Yes,
and the funny thing also is, this is what's interesting, because I have another video I want to show you about sex work. So we'll make the other. I'll steer the conversation that direction. Okay. But for this one, we can focus on the young thing.
The young, because it's
because here's the thing. A lot of people might be like, no, she's really hot. She does have a great body. She is super fun and playful. This is where you start to realize how wicked this whole young thing is. Bad Baby, who was the Catch Me Outside girl.
Yeah.
You know, Danielle DeRose or Danielle Bergolia.
Yeah.
Bergolia. Her. When she turned 18, the day she turned 18, she launched an OnlyFans and she made like 1 point something million the first day. Like just people were just buying it. I actually think it might have been more, but it was just like she broke records because there were a bunch of people who were counting down the day to where she was legal, and then they could just go and see this young little girl be naked, right? She's posted recently that in her 3 years, she's made $67 million. This is a girl that the world collectively laughed at. We ridiculed this girl, and now she is a multi-millionaire.
In 3 years?
In 3 years. $67 million in 3 years. And she posted the receipts to show this is how much money she was making. Yeah. And it's like...
Look, when you look at things like that, and you see just the clear correlation, it's much more endemic and much more of a deeper issue than... oh, these chicks are taking their clothes off for money. Yeah. It's like, no, there's a very real and tangible interest in folks being willing to pay to be entertained by that. And that's what I'm far more interested in. Because she's one chick on the internet. Or Bad Money, she's another chick on the internet. There's got to be thousands of people.
Not
Bad Baby.
But Bad Money also made
Apologies. But it's really the thousands of people who are secretly being titillated by this.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
That's
because you don't get 4 million a month from the same 1,000 guys. You're getting, that's a lot of people who are, whether they're curious, whether they're just like horny, whether they're just like, want to find out what the hype is.
I wish it's funny, you just putting this on me now, but like, I would love to because I'm sure the research is there. I would love to read more about
research the videos.
No, not even the videos, but look into what the psychological either profile or things that have been kind of studied and researched about what it is about specifically the attraction to younger looking women, specifically ones that appear like they are adolescent, that draws. And it's more than, I'm not sure of all of what that is, but it's something that is there, and it's pervasive because we see it not just in this, but it's the same motivation as to why child sex trafficking and Epstein and all these. It's not isolated. That's the thing. It exists, I think, underneath the veneer of what we kind of deem acceptable sexual norms. Yeah, it's there, and clearly there's a ridiculously big market for it.
I don't know if you know this. I have a theater degree, which is like having a psychology degree. So I'm qualified to diagnose this. You know,
well, doctor.
I think yes, thank you, doctor. One of the things I would say, it's this whole like manic pixie dream girl fantasy that people have. Of this person who's innocent of the mind, and you are able to then impose upon them your own rules and structures, and you're able to mold this mind the way to your liking, right? There is this draw to that. That's why even in like the red pill space and the manosphere space, they're always talking about getting young virgins. Virgins
that's
are high. Yeah, and manosphere big on them. They want women with low to no body count. As a man, you can have whatever body count you need to be a man. But for them, they need to be no body count. They need to be virgins. They need to be submissive. There's this desire to control and have your way with and have authority over a lot of these things, right? It even goes to a religious point, because when, that's part of some religions, when they die, they get to heaven and they get 77 virgins. Why do they gotta be virgins? It's because that's something that appeals to them and they want that, you know? And the older you get, the more you have sex, the more you engage in sex. You realize that virgins aren't what they cracked up to be. Like, when they don't know what they're doing, if you're not experienced and you're getting with a virgin, it's not a fun time.
Fun.
Like,
I don't quite get it, and I think it is part of, I think, emotional maturity, and you kind of hit on that aspect of wanting or needing to control, because the idea of having a balanced partner or someone who is able to have their own autonomy is seen as threatening, and is seen as something that is I don't want someone with their own mind, perspective, beliefs, and interests.
And not just that, there's also this sexual inequity that there exists between men and women, right? Like, for a woman to be good at sex, it's not the act of sex, it's just how she presents before sex, right? It's her body, it's her curves, all that. That's what makes a woman desirable for sex. With a man, it's in the performance of it. So if you're a man and you're not able to perform to the highest level, then you want a virgin, because then they have zero expectations.
Because here's the ironic thing about that. Here's the thing about that. As much as we men, I say, obsess about sex and getting it, finding it, and acquiring it, and doing all these things to have it, far too many men genuinely take the time to gain skill at it.
Careful now.
Look,
you're throwing a lot of water on a lot of people who can get wet.
Hey, look. Get wet, because if you can't make it wet,
somebody's got to get wet.
If you can't make it wet, we need to talk about it.
Right.
And I think that it's and in my experience, I know it's pervasive, because I've talked to women tell me.
Right.
It is something where far too few are having genuinely pleasurable experiences where their pleasure is prioritized and considered.
Yeah.
And look, you're right. I think the man, certainly you have a lot to do performance wise, but I think when you prioritize somebody else's pleasure, it makes for a more fulfilling experience. But on the other side of that, when you're only interested in I just want to get in there and do my thing, and it's like, you do want someone who is unaware of what they're missing out on,
right? Or has low expectations.
Low expectations.
Because I think there is this element of like with men who are like, okay, I'm gonna get and do my thing. It's because in their minds they're like, well, the media I consume has only shown me that perspective, right?
That's what I need to do.
You talk about
I gotta get in
like
there
I can't tell how many times you're watching a movie and the way they have sex in movies or they lead up to it, you're like, there's no part of that where they had any kind of foreplay. The dude just automatically lifted, took it, and they were ready. And you're like, oh boy, does it happen like? Because I think a lot of people think it happens like that. And there's a lot. If you want to just go through the act of having sex, like the physical act, then it's that basic, right? But if you're talking about the act of like making love or really engaging in coitus in a way that's like, like it's a dance. It's a very well crafted dance, and there's a lot of steps to it. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
It's not a race to the finish.
Right.
It's not. There's no. You're not trying to get there as quickly as you can. It's like, no, let's.
And I think a lot of men have been. Because of because of the porn they consume, or because of the way they see
porn,
sex,
media, certainly the way it's presented. Absolutely.
They're not educated on that. So then it's like, okay, well, then we also have the added pressure of as a man, you have to have a higher body count, right? Because that's how you gain experience, is through the number of times you engage in sex. That's what they think. They're not thinking that like, oh yeah, like you can engage in sex with one partner many times and learn that way. They're just thinking, no, I need to learn from everyone. It's like they want to, instead of like focusing on one craft and one martial art, they're like, I need to be an MMA fighter. I need to learn. I need to be a white belt in every fighting style. And I'm like, is that better than being a black belt in like 2 or 3 styles? Who who knows, right? Like, there's an argument to be made there. If you're a white belt in every style, but this guy's a black belt in like 2 styles, who would be better at fighting? You know, who knows? But that's just kind of my logic with it. And I think having a virgin, having a young person makes that pressure a lot less alleviated, and I think a lot of people gravitate to that. And so when they see a young chick like Sophie Rain, who they're like, she's young, and then there's also there's also another layer added to it. She is also a representation of the type of girl they wish they could have gotten when they were that age. So there's also that like whole
young,
cycle.
like the young hot chick in high school who
like
didn't give me the time of day.
Yes, and now I
can pay for her and get her how I want her.
Get her, I can have her. I can have her. Like, you know, there's also
I still get a sense of possession of her from this purchase.
Yeah. All that complicated stuff leads to $4 million.
My God. Back around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But I feel like what that number does do is give me such a clear sense of how deep this issue is. Because again, you couldn't get $4 million. You could be the best drug dealer in the world. You ain't getting $4 million a month.
Walter White's like, damn.
Shit.
That's that real blue magic y'all got. What?
I'm saying, exactly.
Yeah.
So it just speaks to God, the level of call it dissatisfaction, dysfunction that is existing and permeating that this is servicing. And I will say, just to jump back to what we were talking about, it came to me a book that is I would call it required reading for any grown man out there. It's called She Comes First.
She Comes. Yo.
What?
I've heard about that book. I heard about that book from women. They're like,
they're like, here, take this, please, ingest it,
learn something,
take it in. Yeah,
She Comes First.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can find it on Amazon.
It's out there. Look, I will give props to him. If you're on. If you're a library member, you might be able to find it for free out there.
Oh, there you go. There's also that. And buy the book. Don't try to find a free copy online. Like, somebody took the time to put all these ideas.
Oh, it's well worth it. It's one that belongs on your shelf.
Yeah.
Trust. You will revisit it if you are unschooled in the ways. You will revisit.
That's the new flex, right? Like, you come over, you bring a girl over, and she sees that book on your shelf. She's gonna be like, ooh, okay.
Let me get comfortable here. I'm in for an experience.
Yeah, the funny thing is, now that we said that, guys are gonna go on dates with the book. They're gonna find somebody to tuck it into their jacket, like,
oh shit,
like, what is? Did I forgot my?
I'm sorry. It's kind of like my
collector's edition.
I don't really leave one without it. It stays right here.
It's right next to it. When I open my mini Constitution, there's like I have a small version. She Comes First also. It's a dual book issue. But yes, but look, I think this is a conversation we'll have to come back to also because this just happened. So as the months go on, I think this thing is gonna blow up. Because what's even crazier is all the coverage she's getting now is only gonna make her more popular. More people are gonna be curious. More her views are gonna go right, and this is gonna be a conversation that we keep having. And I think this is going to start to trigger a lot of people who are gonna see this as some kind of cheat code. Like, she's got a cheat code in life, right? Here's this girl who, what is she doing? She's just engaging in sex, and now she's making $4 million.
So are they having sex in the videos that she has?
I've never seen.
Because I know OnlyFans is not always sex. We're putting it under the umbrella of sex work, but it's not.
If you are making,
True. Okay. That's what I'm just genuinely asking. Because I know many women do well without.
Right. This is what happened with OnlyFans. This is my experience with what happened with OnlyFans is during the pandemic. After it used to be somewhere where it was about like having connection with creators and all that, right? It was kind of like Patreon,
which still it is at times.
Yeah, it is still that. But what happened is a lot of people in the sex industry, in the sex work industry, figured out, like, I'm a porn star, and a lot of the production companies own my videos. They own all the revenue that they get. I get paid a fee, and I get no residuals on that. And they're like, why don't I just have an OnlyFans? I will put out the same content, and I'll get 80% of the revenue, because OnlyFans only keeps 20%.
That's wild.
That's wild, dude.
That's a great split.
You know how insane, and the fact that he kept it like that? Because he could easily, the guy who owns it, he could have easily been like, no, I want
50%.
20%. He's like, rest of it.
He's like, I'm good.
I'm good.
And I'm sure he is.
Yeah, if she's making $43 million a year and he's getting 20% of that for doing squat, then yeah, there's thousands of girls on there doing that. So for them, they're like, hey, this is a great way for me to make money. There are women. I saw this lady earlier. She's a musician, and she's talking about she started doing OnlyFans, and now her band and her music, she can keep doing that. All she had to do was show her ass. And dude, I have the video. I'll show it to you. It's funny. It's funny watching her talk about it.
I totally get it. I'm sitting here calculating, like, is that what I'm missing? Do I need it? Is that the way to do it these days? Like, I don't know.
That's another conversation I want to have about like, and we will talk about sex work. I do have a sex work video we're gonna talk about, but
I do not have to cancel my tour, and I will be able to buy my family Christmas presents because of my bum.
As you said, you've had some criticism for this, but what do you say to that?
Look, not all heroes wear capes. Some just sell their bum for cash. And me selling pictures of my bum is just kind of funny and clever and helping me and empowering me because I'm literally making money and like being able to provide for myself and my crew.
So we'll talk more on that in the next video. But I think the prime focus on this being like, yes, there is something to be said about these women who are taking advantage of something that I don't see the harm they're creating as far as like hurting people directly, and they're providing a service that obviously people want, right? It's legal within the confines of what we say is legal in society. There is the issue, the more broader moral issue of, are these women popular because they look so young? And that can get problematic because it feels like we're getting closer and closer to that line. But that genre already exists in porn.
Sure, right? That was already there. Yes, that was already. That isn't new, of course, with OnlyFans for sure. The market of like 18 to look younger and that being absolutely.
There is of that, and I think if if there needs to be a conversation to be had about this, that's the focus. What we should aim at. It should be about like, hey, is this problematic that men and maybe some women are seeking out this kind of content? But let's demonize the people who are making it when they're doing everything legally and they're also doing it with consent. So, food for thought. We'll see how this kind of plays out. But now I'm even more curious to see what your thoughts on sex work are. So we're definitely going to I have a sex work video I want to show you to see what your thoughts are on that. So that'll be an interesting topic. But yeah, let's see what happens to Sophie Rain.
More money, apparently.
Yo, more money.